Okay, before we get to the unboxing, I saw this kind of like editorial about what comic art is and thought I might talk about this. Frank Miller's recent Wolverine variant cover demonstrates the inflexibility that comic book fandom has when it comes to the form of comic book art. There was a viral reaction on social media over the weekend in response to the release of Marvel's upcoming Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance #1, which features a Frank Miller variant cover drawing of Wolverine. I'll blow that up for you guys. Thoughts?
I mean, it's bad. We I would suspect that anybody looking at that is like, that's something's off there. But at the same time, it's by a legendary creator, so people are gonna be defending him, and I get it because they probably love some of his work. But if you just looked at that on its own and didn't know who made it, you would say, yeah, play that great.
Moody?
Yeah, I would agree. Coming from a outside of a comic book standpoint, it's you really have to knock over everything. Sorry. Definitely not great. And I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's because of the face. It just throws everything else off. Like it just.
If anyone in the chat has some comments about what they think of this, I'd love to hear it. So I have heard differing opinions on Frank Miller as an artist. Some have really enjoyed his work, and even those people who have enjoyed like his Daredevil work or some other stuff, his Dark Knight 3 artwork was apparently really terrible. So he could have good days and bad days, I guess. I don't know. This is the latest.
I enjoyed his Dark Knight too. I'm not saying he's a bad artist in general. It's just this is not his better work. Put it that way.
So this is the latest in series of variant covers that Miller has been doing for Marvel, and my reactions to other covers on social media haven't exactly been amazing. In general, they've been accepted better than his Wolverine cover art. When it comes to art, one of the key things is that, of course, your reaction to any given piece of art is fair enough. If you don't like a piece of art, I'm certainly not going to tell you that you're wrong. However, I think it is important to at least acknowledge that there's a big difference between you saying that you don't like a piece of art and dismissing the piece of art entirely because it doesn't fit into a form of a comic book art that you prefer. I think it's where some of the reactions to Miller's Wolverine are coming from, and it spotlights an inflexibility that often occurs in comic book fandom when it comes to a form of comic book art. The default for fandom in comic book art is realism. While Neil Adams is clearly one of the greatest comic book artists of all time, it's interesting to note that his influence has been so great that nowadays fandom often tends to treat the Adams approach as almost a default house style. The Adams approach, as Alex Grand and Michael Dean so eloquently pointed out in Adams' obituary in the Comic Journal, was his images combine a detailed realism with an exhilarating dynamism so that one could almost imagine meeting Batman on the street or squinting up at the stars to see the Avengers mixing it up with alien armadas. Obviously, the comic book art is inherently not realistic, but more realistic than less detailed art. In other words, there's an understanding that detailed equals better. So there's some examples here.
I'm gonna totally disagree with that. Like, I love off the wall artists like Bill Sienkiewicz and Ed McKeever and Sam Keith, who do not draw realistically, but they have a really cool style. So the reason I don't like this is not because it doesn't look realistic. It's just, in my opinion, he's done much better work than that. So it's not because I'm looking for realistic comic art.
Okay. Do you think most people are conditioned to want that in a comic, and they're
nobody's even? It's a cover art. We're not looking at paneling. Like,
sure, but I think this article has that part of the conversation now of like this kind of panel with the realism of the adding this and then the detail on the body and then going from that to this, whereas
the person writing the article is just trying to defend it and using some really poor defenses because he's comparing cover art to paneling, which is a totally different animal. It's just, anybody who knows Frank Miller's art know that he's produced way better art than that Wolverine cover.
Yeah, like he has one of the most iconic Wolverine covers of this.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do what are we reading, and then I'll show some unboxing, and I'll ask you that Ghost Rider question. So what are you reading this? Are you still done Champions,
so
right?
I got to read a bunch.
Okay.
So I finally got volume 2 of Savage Avengers.
Okay.
Nice.
Not good. Wasn't
You didn't like
great.
it?
No, Savage Avengers, the first series was really good. This series let me down. So the first story arc, they go back to like Conan times, and this is a Deathlock. This is a new Deathlock. This is a Miles Morales Deathlock, but it's all just kind of boring.
Okay.
I think the problem, and you have to have a special writer that can handle this, is that you have an entire team of all brooding superheroes. Like they're all,
they don't really say a lot.
Yeah, there's no dynamic there. Like, there's no goofy one. There's no straight guy.
Yeah.
I talk about like Chris Farley and David Spade. Like, you need those opposites. This is just all brooding superheroes. Anti-Venom, Conan, Weapon H, Black Knight, Elektra. And then the second story arc, they lose Conan because Marvel lost the license.
Yep.
And they go into 2099 and they pick up another brooding superhero, Punisher 2099. It's just, and this second story arc was more enjoyable, but still not really great. But for me, it's always fun to get back into the 2099 universe.
Yeah.
So that's how it ended. Oh, Cloak and Dagger in there too. Oh, but there is an important event in their relationship that happens in the second story arc.
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you like Cloak and Dagger, you might want to check out this series just for their continuing story. This series was cool. I like this.
Yeah. Have you finished it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I finished it too. Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. I really enjoyed this, and I'm hoping that the TV series ends up having this type of like, you don't really know what's happening, paranoia, spies, subterfuge. It was good. I enjoyed this.
I am excited for the show. I think I
cannot really say much about this without ruining anything. If you like Skrull stuff and not knowing who's who, this is for you. This series was really cool. I grew up reading Spider-Man in the 90s and going back and reading back issues. So obviously Kraven's Last Hunt was pretty fresh and popular then. This takes place in like 1994 when Ben Reilly came on the scene and became Spider-Man, and they sent Peter Parker off basically into retirement. So that's when this takes place, and it's written by J.M. DeMatteis, who's a really good character writer, and it goes into some Kraven lore, some kind of origin of Kraven, and it's really well done, and the cover art is really great.
Yeah.
That's dope. The skull was dope. Yeah. Even that one's
really,
fucked.
I enjoyed this. Probably because it brings back a lot of nostalgia too, and spider armor. This is a silent comic.
It's
had
Jeff.
A couple cute stories. Yeah, a couple cutesy stories. Silent comics can be really bad and can be really good. And you get a bunch of both in here.
That's cool.
Ant-Man.
Is that the new series?
No, this is from 2 years ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Ant-Man is always tricky because it's like, all right, I'm buying an Ant-Man comic, but who is it going to be about? Is it going to be about Hank Pym?
Right.
Is it going to be about Eric? Is it going to be about Scott?
Right.
This was Scott, probably because, movies continuity or movies are driving everything now. But this is Scott and his daughter Cassie. This was pretty fun.
That's
you know
cool.
this villain is?
Purple guy.
Yeah, well, it's Swarm, who's just basically consists of like millions of bees. Um,
Creepy.
yeah, very creepy. But in this series, they introduced some more basically Swarm-ish
Yeah.
villains.
Oh yeah.
So there's one of like beetles. There's one made of like silkworms. Like
Ugh.
it was kind of cool. They introduced some new hoarding type of insect villains.
That's cool.
It was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
It
And
was,
then
so was that 5 issues?
it's 5 issues, yeah.
Okay.
And then this was kind of pointless.
Came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it's,
that's kind of what they do when the movie comes out. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Wow, we gotta have stuff on the shelves. Let's throw a pointless story." It was, it's an okay story, but it just doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't connect to anything. So,
Yeah.
not the best. Those little one shots.
That's cool.
Josh, you reading anything?
Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to.
Oh yeah, you were on vacation.
I was in 4 different provinces in less than a week. So that was fun.
Good thing you didn't have any homework. I am kind of behind on comic book reading. I've been trying to catch up on some of my novels. So I finished like 3 and so I finished 2 in the last 2 weeks, and now I'm almost halfway through another one. So kind of behind, but I did get into Scarlet Witch #4, which I'm kind of done with this series after 4 issues. I don't think I'll get #5. It's kind of, I don't know. It didn't grab me. I'm almost done Berserker. I'm on episode 10 issue 10, so I have 3 left. I'm really gonna look forward to that being an animated show and or live action, because it's gonna get violent. Punisher. I'm caught up on Punisher now. Really good series. I think there's only gonna be 2 issues left, given that the story seems like it's coming to an end. And then Sana Staros, her 3rd issue. She has a solo series. The first wife of Han Solo.